Marketing and sales is the lifeline of most businesses. But without marketing, we won't be generating any leads and therefore won't be making any sales. As a business, we need to get our marketing working first and continuously make sure that it's yielding good results for us. So if you find your marketing not working as it should, today I'll be sharing with you several great tactics that will take your game to a whole new level. For this session, not only I've digested dozens of academic reports about marketing psychology, I also listened to over 200 podcasts about this topic. So you can trust that what I'm covering today has been proven and highly effective. I'm going to start with a principle that I'm 100% sure will make you rethink your marketing approach. I'm talking about less is better. But before I get into it, have you ever wondered how many testimonials you should be putting on your landing page? Or how many social media posts you should be posting daily? Well, there's actually an optimal number for each, and it's all backed by scientific studies. Since I work with many businesses, I'll focus on the mistakes that I see more often when it comes to this principle. Mistake number 1, and I see this all the time. Businesses write 6 to 7, even 10 benefits of their product or service. But here's the thing, the human brain actually struggles to retain more than 3 key points at a time. The rule of 3 is a psychological principle that basically says that people are better at retaining and understanding information if it's grouped in 3s. But let's think about it for a second. Nike's slogan isn't just train, run, and perform. It's just do it. Apple, for example, doesn't list all 450 features and specs the phone has. It focuses only on 3 elements: that it's faster, it's smarter, and performs better. So if you're writing website copy or paid advertising headings or emails, try to focus on 3 elements, and that way you retain more attention and people will have an easier time digesting the information you're sharing. But let's move on to the next mistake, which is notorious for hurting business sales. Mistake number 2. I've seen this mistake multiple times, and that is filling up the landing page with too many call to actions. Book now, contact us, request a quote, watch the webinar. The more actions you put on your page, the more choices people have, and the harder for them to make a choice. Here's a good example, and this is Salesforce. This is a pretty big business. But as you can see, they have a ton of different call to actions on their single landing page. Watch demo, start for free, join the community. What else we got here? Get the report, sign up on Slack. Now, I don't know if they know, but that actually makes it harder for people to take action. This is called decision fatigue. The more options you give someone, the harder for them to make a choice. Instead, my recommendation is have just 1 call to action on a page. At most, maybe 2. 1 for your cold audience, whether it's download the report or read this case study, and then a primary one for more warmer audience that are looking to take action, whether it's to contact you or to request a quote. Remember, less buttons means more action. Mistake number 3. Another mistake I see way too often is websites packing up their landing page with too many options. And I mean options in your menu, options in the first few elements on their homepage. This is a really out there example, but for example, if you look at Craigslist, which is a very popular site in the United States, you can see that the first landing page or their main homepage is full of different options. Same thing for this crazy example. What you want to do is keep your menu or your navigation menu at your website to have not more than 5, 6, 7 elements. 7 elements being the most. But if you exceed that number, the same principle applies about decision fatigue. The more options you give someone, the harder for them to navigate to the option they need, especially if your navigation menu has over 7 options. Just like you see in this example, you want to keep the menu options to 4 to 6. Here you can see Mailchimp has done that, keeping it to 5 options to the left, and then a few more options here to get in touch. So keep your menu bar very simple and easy to navigate, and you have more people contacting you. But what about contact forms on your website? Does the same principle apply? Well, if you're collecting leads on your website, you want to listen to this one. Mistake number 4. This is a big one, especially for bigger brands, B2B businesses, and larger corporates. It's really important to apply this and to remember this. Contact forms don't need to have so many fields. The more fields you have in your contact form, the less leads you will generate. Basically, the same rule applies. Some people say that it's important to have a lot of fields because then you get more high quality leads because they take their time to actually complete the form. But it's actually counterintuitive because even the people that are interested in contacting you and may be your potential client still are humans. So they would rather fill up a short form, as short as possible, just to get in touch with you. Mistake number 4 is probably the most common one, and it's basically businesses put too many fields in their contact form. Here you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 fields to basically get in touch. That is huge. Instead of that, imagine just seeing this: name, email, and mobile. Send. And then you contact your lead to basically try to make a sale or to see what sort of challenges they have that you can solve. Keep your contact form simple and you will see that you will get more leads. And this is not just me saying this. This is backed by multiple academic reports that show that the less amount of fields, the more people will contact you. Mistake number 5, and that is over creating too much content. A lot of people assume that creating more posts mean that they will get more engagement and more people following them on social media. But that is not actually true. All social media platforms' algorithms favor quality over quantity. If you post 7 times a week but no one engages with your content, then someone that posts 2 to 3 times a week but has high engagement will obviously perform better than your results. What you want to do is to post 3 to 4 times a week, but try to create very engaging content in comparison to focusing on quantity. This number is enough to keep your audience engaged and coming back for more for your content. Before I cover how you can be more effective with your writing, please like the video, and if marketing is a priority for you, subscribe to the channel because there's a lot more value coming up. You're probably wondering why I called the next section Writing Like Gandhi. Well, you'll soon find out. Have you ever read an About Us page or a landing page and thought to yourself, wow, the design looks great, but I don't really care what they're saying? It happens all the time. Businesses like to talk about themselves, how much years of experience they have, how many awards they won, their biggest clients. But here's the thing, your audience don't really care about that. They care about what you can do for them and how you can help them with their challenges. Mistake number 6. Gandhi wasn't a leader because he talked about his credentials. He was a leader because he spoke directly to the people and their struggles. He made them the hero of the story. The same applies to your marketing. You are not the hero, your customer is. You should pose yourself in your writing as their guide who is helping them on their journey. Think of it this way, in Star Wars, Luke was the hero and Yoda was his guide. Now, if the whole movie was focused about Yoda, how powerful he is and how experienced he is, no one would really care. Instead of saying, we have 20 years of experience and worked across 30 different industries, say something along the lines of, we can help solve your business challenges and create a streamlined approach to your marketing. In short, you want to focus more about how your service can really help your clients rather than focusing on your business and what it has done so far. Mistake number 7. There's a myth that using big words means higher intelligence. But the truth is, the more simple your communication is, the easier it is to understand for a broader range of audience. Gandhi spoke in a way that everybody could understand. His messages weren't loaded with complex words and jargon. He kept things clear, simple, and direct. The same applies to your writing. Research in Princeton University has found that people trust more messages that have been written in simple language. So instead of saying we facilitate cutting-edge technology with data-driven approach to optimize your results, say something like, we get you help more done with less effort. Simple beats fancy every time. But now let's talk about something more dangerous than big words. Big paragraphs. Mistake number 8. Have you ever opened a website and saw a huge amount of words and paragraphs and you're like, no, and just clicked away from it? That is because our brains are actually wired to scan, not to read. Research has shown that 79% of people actually skim through content rather than read it online, meaning that if your text looks like an essay, people won't even bother reading it. The fix? Short sentences, short paragraphs, and plenty of white space. Less text means more impact. But let's move on to the next mistake. One that can ruin your entire message. Mistake number 9. People don't buy products, they buy better versions of themselves. If you're selling a running shoe, they're not buying breathable mesh technology. They're buying the feeling of running faster, longer, and with less pain. If you're selling marketing services, people are not buying SEO and PPC management. They're buying more leads so they can focus more on other things in their business. So instead of saying your software offers data tracking and customizable reports, say something like know where your money is going and how to make more of it. Make your writing more about what's in it for your customer rather than what your product actually offers. But even the best type of copy can fail if you don't fix this last mistake. Mistake number 10. One of the biggest mistakes out there is when a copywriter tries to appeal to everyone. Gandhi, for example, didn't try to convince everyone. He spoke directly to the people who needed his message the most. And great marketing works the same way. Instead of writing in a way that tries to please everyone, write your message to one specific person you can picture. Is it a small business owner that needs more leads? Or potentially a big enterprise that needs more support in terms of reporting? Find out who is your target audience and write directly to them, rather to everyone. Learn to speak directly to one person and you will see that your content will create a lot more conversions for your business. Now let's move on to the next session, which focuses more on design and how you can leverage it when it comes to marketing. Great design that includes marketing principles will help create more trust and more sales. And if you're not thinking about visuals strategically, you're leaving money on the table. So let's talk about the common mistakes businesses make when it comes to visual persuasion. Mistake number 11. Numbers aren't just numbers. The way they are represented has a lot to do with how they persuade someone to buy. A product originally priced at $299 is crossed over, and next to it, another number, lower, $199, is actually bigger in font and in a different color. There is some science behind this. How you display your pricing for your products has a big impact on purchase power. This creates a downward flow, making the new price feel like a much better deal. But this is just one way visuals change perception. Let's move on to the next one. Mistake number 12. Your words might be super powerful, but if people can't read them, they won't matter. I see this all the time, even in big brands. Fonts that are too creative, that they're really hard to read, backgrounds that are not contrasting with the fonts, and size of fonts that makes it really hard to read. If you want your message to stick, your text should be instantly readable. Why does this matter? Because readability equals trust. If your text is hard to read, people subconsciously will think that it doesn't matter or it's not as important. And speaking of subconscious reactions, let's talk about faces. Mistake number 13. Humans are wired to connect to faces, and smiling faces triggers a positive response and a sense of trust. That is why ads with smiling faces tend to get more engagement. Website testimonials that show the customer's face tend to be more trustworthy than those that don't. Even product pages perform better when they actually show the faces of the customers using those products. But here's the secret trick. Eye direction matters. If the person in your image directly looks at the viewer, then it creates a sense of connection. So instead of stock images, use real people and real images and leverage those two things I just mentioned. Use smiling faces to create trust and use wherever they're looking to create attention for where you want to draw it. But how can we make people feel like they belong to your brand? Well, that's where community visuals come in. Mistake number 14. One of the most powerful psychological drivers in marketing is identity. People are drawn to brands that feel like they belong to them. So if you're a local business, use images that are taken in your area to show common landmarks or the style of the way your neighborhood looks like. Feature customers from your community instead of generic models. Ticking those boxes will basically present your business as a local one, showing the type of customers you want to attract and obviously connect better with your audience in terms of identity. This is why global brands like Coca-Cola actually localize their marketing. So for example, when they do marketing campaigns in Asia, they will obviously feature people in those campaigns from the region. Same thing goes for other countries like America, South America, or Europe. Same brand, but brilliant tactics to adapt the brand to the local community. Finally, let's talk a little bit about the way you show your prices in a way that can boost conversions and sales dramatically. Mistake number 15. Imagine you're looking at two product options. One product costs $99 and another variation of it costs $599. If the first thing you see is $99 and then the second price is presented to you at $599, that feels like a huge jump. But if first you see the $599 product and then see the $99, that feels like a huge discount. This is called price anchoring. The first product sets a mental expectation or an anchoring point, and every number after that is seen in relation to that number. That's why high-end restaurants that use this tactic will show the menu items that cost more at the start of the menu. So if you are displaying your prices and you have different types of them, make sure you put the big ones first. And just like that, your pricing will start feeling more attractive without even changing the numbers themselves. Before you go, I want to express my appreciation for you watching the video until the end. And if marketing and behavioral science excites you and helps you improve your marketing, make sure you subscribe so you can watch the videos that come up in the future. Thank you very much, and I hope to see you next time.